Well, it's Friday, and you all know what that means. Well, that doesn't mean because I got a brand new haircut, if you guys have noticed. It means once again we get to do AEW Rampage, and of course, who's gonna level up on NXT Level Up? We're just gonna find out. And of course, we're gonna do some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. One of those news updates, apparently, something very interesting took place. I don't know how you guys will feel about it, but we will be talking plenty of it. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome, everybody, to the Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Sherrod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is where we do a lot of daily reviews on various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, the UK, Europe, anywhere in the world where wrestling is not as big, but it is growing. We also do some discussion videos, more news updates, even if I haven't put this on this episode, and various other cool things. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews on various wrestling promotion shows and various other things, and you will get to see. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment down below. Now, our very first review we're going to do is, of course, AEW Rampage. It started out with a no disqualification match between two former tag teams, or should I say tag partners. We're talking about Proud and Powerful Mike Santana and Ortiz. Now, you know the history of these guys. They were part of LAX. They've been one of the best tag teams, but recently we know they've been a fallout between the two of them in real life as well. This is more like ever since they first reappeared after many months that we haven't seen them. Uh, it appears that Mike Santana felt like I'm breaking away from you, Ortiz, and going my way. But Ortiz is more like, okay, who's going to close out the chapter between the two of them? So you can guess that this is one of those matches like, okay, who's going to end it? Is it going to be Santana or is it going to be Ortiz? Well, I can assure you that this match was very brutal. But however, in the end of this match, it was Santana who picked up the win when he applied some kind of a modified power bomb to finish off Ortiz and pick up the win. However, Ortiz was like very disappointed because he thought he was going to be the one to close this chapter between the two of them. And of course, Santana wanted to give him a fist bump, so good job. But it looks more like it wasn't going to happen. But however, something interesting took place during the post match. Um, Sanjay Dutt showed up, wanted to talk to him, but it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. Now, if you follow too many storylines, you know what this is about. I know, I have that distinct feeling. I know what Sanjay Dutt is. He's a little sneaky little bastard for what he is. I'm going to presume that he wants Ortiz to help him to deal with someone who's a pain in the ass and undeserving to be a world champion, and that is, of course, Eddie Kingston. If you guys know, Ortiz and Eddie Kingston were friends, and I think that's probably the storyline they're going. That Sanjay wants to use Ortiz to help him to make sure that the match between Jay Lethal and Eddie Kingston go in favor of him to win the ROH World Championship. Well, we'll see how that rolls up. We'll just pay attention to that storyline. Now, as you know, MJF, he has a lot of things on his mind. He knows he has challengers coming left and right, but of course, one of them is coming up in Collision, which is Kenny Omega. And of course, whenever something involves Kenny Omega, you know who's going to show up. And that is, of course, Don Callis. I'm sure Don Callis wants to ensure that Kenny does not become world champion again. I think that's the scenario that's being played out, that he wants to ensure it. But of course, MJF is not going to listen to a guy like him. He knows what he's doing. MJF doesn't need help. He's the devil for all we know. So I'm sure that's going to be interesting. Now, Chris Statlander set up an interview with Renee to have a little chit chat with Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale. Now, of course, the issue is those two have not been the same since they were blackmissed by Julia Hart. Now, Willow, it seems like she's self-aware that her new aggressiveness, her way of behaving isn't her. But it looks more like Sky Blue, it seems like she's embracing that. So, but don't forget, we do see Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue in a four-way match for a number one contendership for the AEW Women's World Championship. So, we'll see about that. Now, our next little segment in the ring, we see Kip Sabian disrespecting the people of Philly, especially when it comes to sports. So the more he's disrespected, we had a little surprise visit and return of Reach for the Sky, boy. That's right, Mark Briscoe's back. He gave on him a little ass whooping that he deserves. So that's exactly what we needed. It's great to see Mark. I'm very happy to see him. Now, during an interview with, of course, Renee, she was talking with the former members of the Jericho Appreciation Society, Menard, Parker, Garcia, and Hager, and Anna Jay. However, Don Callis, on the other hand, apparently wants to recruit members of the former Jericho Appreciation Society. It appears that Daniel Garcia is not too fond of the idea. I'm going to presume maybe because of Sammy Guevara, So that's going to. So it looks more like maybe Menard is really open to the idea. Maybe align himself with the Don Callis family. But however, as soon as the whole interview was over, Ruby Soho gave back Angelo Parker his little comb. I don't know what's going on with those two. I'm not sure if they're throwing a little love story between them. That's going to be interesting to see. But we'll see. Now, our next match is the number one contendership for the AEW Women's World Championship. We have Willow Nightingale versus Anna Jay versus the returning Abaddon versus Sky Blue. Now, I knew Anna Jay was going to try to duck herself out of this match because she wants to ensure she wins in her own way. Except it did not work. But however, I think you probably ask yourselves, who is the much bigger threat in this match? Well, I have to say the bigger threat here was Abaddon. I mean, Abaddon is a unique wrestler. I've often talked about unique wrestlers all the time on this channel. I mean, look at Danhausen, Orange Cassidy, and various others that I've talked about. But yes, but one thing I was hoping, and watching this match, I had like hopes that it was going to be Sky Blue to pick up the win, but to my surprise, it was in fact Abaddon who pinned who was Anna Jay in this by using her unorthodox methods. But I'm like, wow, I didn't expect that, but I did notice a nice warm reaction from people who remembered Abaddon. Remember, Abaddon only appeared on Dark and Dark Elevation a lot. I know she's been appearing in certain aspects, but I don't know where she's been the entire time. But hopefully we can see her more. Now, the Acclaim, once again, going out saying they have been trios champions for 61 days. However, they were planning to do a little celebration party, and of course, once again, Max Caster trying to persuade MJF to come. The others were not too keen on that, but we'll see what happens after that. Now, main event, we have Kyle Fletcher versus Konosuke Takeshita. What an amazing match. I mean, look, you probably would have presumed this match will easily be done by Takeshita, but no. Kyle Fletcher refuses to give up no matter what Takeshita throws at him. Whatever move he throws at him, he kicks out of it. But however, the final thing was the knee strike, and that kind of went in that way. Of course, Don Callis was happy because he proved that he was really has no that killer instinct. But all of a sudden, Kyle Fletcher grabbed the chair and whacked Takeshita and then Hobbs. But of course, Hobbs would not take it kindly. But all of a sudden, Don Callis told him to back off. He just told him to let him go. So basically, he did like what he saw. That was the Kyle Fletcher he was looking for. Someone who would just bring out that style. So it most likely we could see Kyle Fletcher now as part of the Don Callis family. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure that this is something that Jericho and Kenny needs to pay attention. Don Callis will stop at nothing to ensure that they see those two be destroyed. So we'll see what happens in Collision. So right now, let's move on with NXT Level Up. Okay, so who levels up on this latest episode of NXT Level Up? Let's find out. Our first match, we have Jay-Z Jane along with Thea Hale taking on Izzy Dame. So it's been a while since we see Jay-Z Jane in NXT Level Up, but I have to say, for her to come back to NXT Level Up will help her get more recognition. Don't forget, she is going to be challenging this coming Tuesday with Thea Hale for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. So that's something we are expecting. But of course, you probably would have assumed that Jay-Z Jane would not have it easy on her. But this was pretty much a bit challenging. Well, not too much of a challenge, but But she was able to pick up a pretty good win when she applied. I'm not sure if it was a disc lariat that finished off the job and pick up a very good win for herself. We'll see what happens on Tuesday when she and Thea Hale faces Piper Nivens and Chelsea Green. Now, before our next match, that involves this individual, Riley Osborne had an interview with Kelly Kincaid. Now, there was a lot of controversial surrounding his match towards Axiom. Now, many people can say that the ref botched the match or wasn't paying attention or whatever the scenario was. Axiom had pinned Riley Osborne and he kicked out right exactly on the third. So, however, there was a lot of controversy about that. So, I had that distinct feeling as a fan that there was going to be a bit of a rematch to right or wrong over how that match ended. So even Riley Osborne in his interview with Kelly kind of explained it to him. He even brought this up. He went for it back of his head to find out how can he change it. Well, it kind of did, but in the process you got to ask yourselves about Axiom. Does Axiom also consider this as another, like a problem that he needs to fix? Well, knowing Axiom, he probably might have paid attention as well. But nonetheless, the match itself with Axiom and Riley Osborne, it kind of went exactly like you probably would have hoped, an actual rematch to how it's supposed to be. Now, the only thing we got to be sure that nothing, happens again like what happened the previous time. But of course, Axiom was going to be very calculating, try to ensure that whatever happens afterwards doesn't repeat itself. But he was able to apply the golden ratio on Riley Osborne. 1, 2, 3. It was over just like that. So nothing changes. So basically, it's now been rectified. And of course, we could see a great future with Riley Osborne. But Axiom, I would like him to rise more on the occasion on NXT. I mean, for him to either to become like Heritage Champion or possibly the North American Champion. That's something we could definitely see down the line. But we'll just got to wait and see. And I think that's pretty much it with our reviews. Let's move on with some news updates. Okay, welcome to our news update. So let's talk about what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. You may have heard this from various news outlets. Doesn't matter who, if it's Wrestling Observer or Fightful Select or wherever you heard it from. Ronda Rousey appeared at a local independent promotion based out of LA called Lucha Vavoom. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with this promotion is based out of LA. I have seen photos of them. I might have seen some clips, but yes, Ronda Rousey showed up and she teamed up with her fellow four horsewoman of MMA, of course, Marina Shafir. So they were in a match against Tail Valkyrie and Brian Kendrick. So I think we did not expect. Some people are questioning that was kind of strange and all that. I know personally there are some people who may have, how to say, disliked Ronda for being in WWE, or they just don't like her, that sort of thing. But yes, does this mean she will be making appearances independently? I mean, anything's a possibility, but we will see what happens until then. Uh, on social media, Natsupoi talked about how she was checking out Starlight Kid's TikTok. Yes, I know Natsupoi and Starlight Kid has TikTok. I don't know why Natsupoi was going in there, and Starlight Kid noticed it as well. So it's kind of weird, but there are people are saying, much like Starlight Kid and Azumi teamed up before, they would like to see both Starlight Kid and Natsupoi team up. I mean, that'll be cool to see as well, but we'll see how that will go in the future. Right now, as you know, both of them are, well, kind of out on injury, but we'll see where it takes place. Uh, Fightful Select reports that uh, I got kids. That's right. Heath Slater, he is now officially a free agent. His contract with Impact Wrestling has expired. There are those that are now speculating that he could be on his way back to WWE, but reports saying that they were planning to get back in 2020, almost 3 years ago. WWE were planning to rehire Heath, but he felt like he wanted to finish off his contract with Impact Wrestling, and I think it was pretty good. But if he is heading back to WWE, that's going to be interesting to see. Don't know exactly where he would fit in, but we'll see. Now, speaking more of Fightful Select, Bianca Belair said that she would like to she's open to the idea of forming a tag team with the new girl, or should I say, someone we know from AEW, Jade Cargill. I know people recently have been talking about this on social media. They were saying they will be an undefeated team. I mean, that is a good thing to think about. I mean, it would be interesting to see those two team up. Um, you can say I'm open to the idea. I would like to see how that's going to turn out, but yes. Now, on Sports Illustration, Tetsuya Naito said that he would like to have a match with him teaming with the members of LIJ, Los Ingorbenables de Japón, taking on AEW's Blackpool Combat Club. I have to say it would be a good match to watch. I mean, I don't think it matters where it's going to be, if it's going to be in New Japan or in AEW. So I'd say make it happen. Now, Booker T recently went on his podcast and talked about CM Punk. Now, as you know, there's been a lot of talk about Punk, that people are speculating that he will be on his way back to WWE. Right now, he's not thinking of that at the moment. He said that he's taking care of his dog, Larry, who had an ACL problem. But Booker talked about he could be a perfect fit for TNA Wrestling. As you know, TNA will be back in January of 2024. Let me pull up what he had to say about that. Okay, this is what he said. TNA will be the spot. If he's gonna land somewhere, TNA will be the spot. I feel like TNA, they could use the rub. People's eyes will be on TNA as well. you will actually get a chance to see CM Punk's power start if the needle moves for TNA, if TNA gets back in the race, because right now they're running in third the way back there. But imagine if TNA numbers could start competing with AEW. Oh man, then people's gonna start saying that Tony Khan made a mistake. That's what's gonna happen. Booker T said. So Booker T, in my from what I can see from what he said, I mean TNA would be a perfect fit for him. But you got to remember, TNA Impact Wrestling does not have the necessary budget like, of course, AEW or WWE. I mean, the problem was we have seen wrestlers that would have been in Impact slash TNA back then, but they couldn't afford them. I mean, Brock Lesnar was one of those people that TNA at the time couldn't afford him at all. But he does make a fantastic point that if Punk goes to, could heads to TNA, then imagine people will switch on the channel to watch him on TNA. That is something that could happen, and I don't know exactly why Booker T is like. I don't know. I feel like he's hating on AEW that, oh, they should not have fired a CM Punk. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Now, Jon Moxley, as you know, he was on injury due to what happened to him during the match. He said that he would like propose that he would like to make a cut and dry possibility changes to make it better. Now, he did say this: as soon as the doctor police sign on somebody being concussed, he just hits the effing red button. Boom, this is over. No matter how much time I left, no matter if it's on live TV or it's just over, you figure things out. If guy spins around and something, and doctor goes, he's okay, must suggest the wrestler can tell him. That's just pro wrestling thing. Don't worry. So basically, he wants to make a little changes to make things a lot more better because um, yeah. But yeah, we'll see what happens until then. Let's see what they decide. GCW has announced for the WrestleCade event on the 24th of November. Insane Clown Bussy will be involved. So yes, Ali Catch and Effie will be teaming up with Violent J. They take on the Mortons, Ricky and Carrie Morton, along with George South. So that's going to be interesting to check out. Wrestling Revolver updates for everyone. They just announced it on November 16th. They'll be making their debut in LA. So that's going to be interesting. So any subscribers in the LA area, if you're big fans of Wrestling Revolver, go check them out. Go find out how to get tickets and all this and whatnot. Now, more info has come in for the season finale. They'll take place on December 2nd. Emi Sakura will be debuting at Wrestling Revolver. But however, it was already announced that her first match will be with none other than Killer Kelly. So that's going to be interesting. Also, they announced that the unit, JT Dunn and Ali Catch, along with that fat bastard Phil Stamper, will be there too. Now, keep in mind, recently we know that JT Dunn and Phil Stamper seems like they're not on the same page. But we'll see what happens. Now, Scott Edwards actually posted this on Twitter recently. Something about the start of the Stardom Gold Rush show on the 18th of November. Let me pull that up real quick. He did say apparently something major is going to happen in Gold Rush. So we don't know. But here's what we do know for the card that takes place. Of course, the red belt, the World of Stardom Championship, will be defended. Tam Nakano will face the winner of the 5-star Grand Prix. Um, the white belt, the Wonder of Stardom, Mirai defends it against Sayori Onoi. The high-speed title will be on the line. Mei Sita defends it against Momoka Hanazono. Then there's, of course, the Sudi versus Alice Inc. And then there's the Moneyball tournament. So I don't know what it is, but people are speculating that something is going to happen with Tam Nakano um, on that particular day. Now, I did talk about that match particularly, that it's kind of unusual that we normally see the winners of the 5-star Grand Prix get the title opportunity in December, but this time is in November in Osaka. Don't know why it was changed to that, but I don't know. Some people are speculating that Tam will retain the title and then will be attacked by someone. I mean, it's not uncommon, but it is the possibilities of that. So we'll see what happens until we get there. Now, currently, Tam is not wrestling at the moment. She was having some neck problems. As a precaution, I'm presuming that Stardom told her to take a rest for a while until she's well rested. Same thing with Natsupoi as well. So we'll see what happens until then. I think that's pretty much it. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. As you know, it's going to be Saturday. There's going to be a lot of things taking place on this. Now, I do know that we do have more of the Super Junior Tag League. We're entering in day 5. Recently, I just did learn on YouTube that Got to Move, or should I say Choco Pro, has put out their latest show that recently took place. I will be seeing that. Of course, we have AEW Collision. Now, there's still some shows I haven't seen yet, but I will be getting to those as soon as possible. Of course, wrestling is going to be a bit chaotic for this weekend for me, trying to catch up to everything else that's been happening. But we will see what happens until then. But for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day.